right, so we're back for another deep dive. And this time, we're tackling something I think every football fan has thought about at some point.
Oh, yeah.
What does it really take for a stadium to host the Super Bowl? You guys sent in this awesome YouTube video from Game Arenas called
I saw that one.
NFL Stadiums That Will Never Host a Super Bowl. And we were ready to unpack it.
Yeah, what's interesting is that this video breaks it down into this tiered system, right?
Yeah.
Stadiums that have like a slim chance, a very little chance, and absolutely no chance.
Huh.
And it really highlights how picky the NFL is about this whole event.
Yeah, it's not just about like having a big field and a jumbotron.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
It's not even just about size, to be honest.
Right.
Hosting the Super Bowl, transforms a city for an entire week.
Oh, wow.
So imagine the pressure if you were a city official.
Oh, my God.
Suddenly you're responsible for accommodating this massive influx of fans, media, VIPs.
Yeah.
It's a logistical and economic whirlwind.
Okay, so like the stakes are really high.
Extremely high.
So what are some of the specific things that the NFL is looking for? The video kind of breaks it down into some pretty surprising categories.
Yeah.
I thought.
Space is huge.
Okay.
Space is a huge factor.
Makes sense.
And I'm not just talking about for the game itself.
Right.
Think about fan zones, media centers, security perimeters.
Yeah.
The video even mentions all the Super Bowl parties that happen around the city, right?
Yeah.
It's mind-boggling how much coordination goes into it.
Yeah, and then there's like the whole infrastructure piece, which I never would have thought about,
Right.
on my own.
The NFL demands things like enough hotel rooms within an hour's drive
Oh, wow.
to house everyone.
Yeah.
They need equivalent practice facilities for both teams
Okay.
to keep things fair, obviously.
Right.
And then, of course, a minimum of 70,000 fixed seats.
70,000. To put that in perspective, that's like filling the entire Colosseum in Rome.
Wow.
And then some.
That's a lot of people.
It's a lot of people.
And then, of course, there's the weather factor.
Right.
No surprise there.
Sunshine.
The NFL really wants sunshine and warmth, which, let's be honest, rules out a good chunk of the country.
Right from the start.
Right away.
Yeah.
Automatically.
And here's where I got really interested. The video really emphasizes that newer cutting-edge stadiums have a big advantage.
They do.
Why is that so important to the NFL, do you think?
Well, I think it's about the overall experience that
course.
they're trying to project.
Yeah.
They want the high-tech scoreboards, the luxury suites,
Okay.
the gourmet concessions.
Right.
It's all part of cultivating this certain image, right?
Yeah.
And the older stadiums, they just don't always have those bells and whistles.
They don't, yeah.
It's a different vibe.
So, with those criteria in mind, let's jump into some specific examples from the video.
All right, sounds good.
And we'll start with the stadiums that have at least a glimmer of hope.
Let's see if we can separate the contenders from the pretenders here.
Yeah, exactly.
I love it.
First up, we have Bank of America Stadium in Charlotte.
Oh, okay. Sure.
Good infrastructure, decent size.
Yeah.
But what do you think? Does it have that Super Bowl magic?
Well, the weather in February can be a little iffy.
Yeah, that's true.
Plus, Charlotte doesn't have that same, unique draw
Okay.
as some other cities. I
Yeah.
mean, delicious as they are, I'm not sure barbecue and NASCAR are enough to clinch a Super Bowl bid.
That's fair. That's
I
fair.
don't know.
Okay, then there's Nissan Stadium in Nashville.
I like that.
The video says it's just shy of that seating requirement.
Right.
But Nashville, it's got that it factor.
Nashville is definitely a hot spot right now, known for its music scene, the nightlife.
Yeah.
Could appeal to a younger,
Yeah.
more party-centric Super Bowl crowd.
Right.
But, those practice facilities and February weather in Nashville
Yeah.
might be a sticking point.
It might be. Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay. Next on the list is M&T Bank Stadium in Baltimore.
Baltimore.
It meets that seating minimum,
Okay.
but there's no dome.
Right.
So weather's a gamble there.
Huge gamble.
And, Baltimore, it has its charm, but I don't know if it's the first place that comes to mind.
It's not necessarily.
When I think of like a Super Bowl week-long extravaganza,
I might need a little something extra
it might, yeah,
to stand out.
to stand out
Yeah.
from the crowd.
Okay, and speaking of standing out, Arrowhead Stadium in Kansas City.
Oh, Kansas City.
This one surprised me.
Oh, really?
The video calls it the loudest stadium,
It is loud.
beloved by fans.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So, what's holding it back?
It's a classic case of passion versus practicality.
Okay.
Arrowhead is legendary,
Yeah.
but it's also older.
Okay.
and it's got limited infrastructure around it.
Okay.
And let's be real, Kansas City weather in February. That's a roll of the dice the NFL probably doesn't want to take.
It's true. It's true. It's a tough one.
It is tough.
It's kind of heartbreaking,
Yeah.
to see these iconic stadiums like Arrowhead facing these challenges.
Yeah.
Makes you wonder if the Super Bowl is losing some of its connection to, football history.
That's a really good point. But the video does seem to favor these newer, flashier stadiums over the ones with, more tradition.
It's true.
Is the NFL prioritizing image over a legacy here?
I think it's definitely a shift in focus.
Yeah.
And it begs the question, what does this mean for the cities with these older stadiums? Do they need to, invest in these costly renovations
Oh, wow.
just to stay in the running?
It's like a whole new level of competition.
It is.
Cities aren't just vying for the game anymore.
Yeah.
They're vying for this mega event.
Exactly.
This week-long spectacle.
It requires a completely different kind of infrastructure.
Right.
Think about the transportation,
Yeah.
accommodation, security. It's not just about the stadium itself anymore. Right.
It's about the entire city's ability to handle this influx of Super Bowl mania.
So if you're a city and you're hoping to host a Super Bowl, what's the takeaway? What does it really take to make the cut in this new era?
Well, based on the video,
Yeah.
it seems like you need this perfect storm of factors.
Okay.
A modern stadium with all the bells and whistles,
Yeah.
that's like a non-negotiable.
Yeah, and warm weather.
Warm weather is key.
Seems to be non-negotiable.
Yeah, they don't want to risk delays or unhappy fans, shivering in the stands.
No one wants that,
Nobody wants that.
especially not the NFL.
They want that, picture-perfect broadcast,
Yeah.
fun in the sun,
Right.
attract those viewers worldwide.
And infrastructure.
Oh, yeah.
Can the city handle the traffic, the crowds, the demand for hotels and restaurants?
It's all about creating a seamless experience,
Right.
not just for the fans, but
Yeah.
for the media, for the sponsors.
Yeah.
The NFL itself, they want everything to run like a well-oiled machine, like clockwork.
Exactly.
And, let's not forget about security.
Oh, of course.
Of course, Super Bowl's a massive event.
Yeah,
And the NFL is understandably concerned with safety and security.
absolutely. Yeah, host cities. They need to demonstrate they can provide that secure environment.
Yeah.
Not just in the stadium,
Right.
but throughout the entire city.
Yeah, that's a big ask.
It is. It is.
So we've talked about the stadiums with a glimmer of hope, but now it's time to face the hard truth. What about the stadiums that are pretty much guaranteed to never host a Super Bowl?
This is where the video gets really interesting. It's not just about shortcomings.
Right.
It's about almost insurmountable obstacles.
Okay.
And some of the names on this list might surprise you.
Like Gillette Stadium, home of the New England Patriots. I thought being near Boston would be an advantage.
You would think, right?
You'd think so.
But the video, it points out that Gillette is actually quite far from downtown Boston.
Oh, wow.
Creates this logistical nightmare for transportation.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Plus, it's too small.
Oh, really?
And New England winters,
Yeah.
let's just say they're not exactly Super Bowl friendly.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
What about Lumen Field in Seattle? Amazing city, but
Seattle rain is legendary.
it is.
And the NFL wants a picture-perfect broadcast, remember?
Right.
Torrential downpours, wind. It doesn't exactly create that party atmosphere they're going for.
No, not at all.
Not really.
Speaking of less than ideal experiences, the video doesn't hold back when it comes to FedEx Field, home of the Washington Commanders.
Rightfully so.
Yeah.
It's known for terrible access, notorious traffic jams.
Yeah.
Not exactly the kind of smooth, luxurious experience the NFL wants to project.
No, not at all. And then there's the one that truly breaks my heart. Lambeau Field, home of the Green Bay Packers.
It's iconic.
It's historic.
Oh, yeah. But frozen tundra doesn't exactly scream Super Bowl party,
It doesn't.
Plus, Green Bay is a small city,
Right.
limited infrastructure. The fans wouldn't want it any other way.
Right.
But from the NFL's perspective, it's just not a practical option.
It really highlights the tension, between tradition and practicality.
It does.
Doesn't it?
It really does. And it's not just Green Bay.
Okay.
The video lists a few other stadiums with passionate fan bases that face similar challenges, like Acrisure Stadium in Pittsburgh,
Okay.
cold weather city.
Yeah.
Parking's limited.
Okay.
The stadium just doesn't have the footprint for a Super Bowl-sized event.
Okay. Yeah.
Soldier Field in Chicago,
Sure.
an aging stadium, just wasn't built for an event of this magnitude.
Right.
Plus, downtown Chicago in February.
Yeah.
I mean, let's just say it's not exactly balmy.
No, it's not.
And we can't forget about Highmark Stadium in Buffalo.
Oh, yeah.
Buffalo in February is a winter wonderland.
Yeah.
But not the kind the NFL's looking for.
No, I can see that.
City's infrastructure is not equipped for that many visitors,
Right.
and the stadium itself lacks those modern amenities
Right.
that the league prioritizes.
It's almost ironic, isn't it? Some of the most dedicated fan bases
I know.
are the least likely to see their home team in the Super Bowl.
It's true. It really highlights a crucial takeaway from the video, you know?
Oh.
Market size isn't everything.
Oh.
New Orleans, for example, has hosted the Super Bowl 10 times.
Wow, that's a lot.
Smaller market compared to, like, Chicago or Philadelphia.
Right.
But it consistently delivers a great experience.
So it's about the whole package.
It is. It is.
Weather, infrastructure, modern amenities,
Yes.
and a city that's ready to embrace the Super Bowl madness.
Precisely. It's about finding that perfect match between the NFL's needs
Right.
and a city's ability to deliver an unforgettable experience.
Which brings us to a question for you, dear listener. If you were in charge of picking a Super Bowl city,
Yeah.
what would be your top criteria? What compromises would you be willing to make?
Would you prioritize, a state-of-the-art stadium or
Right.
a city with rich football history? Would you be willing to overlook, a less than ideal climate if the city had incredible infrastructure and passionate fans?
It's a really fascinating thought experiment.
It is.
It reveals how complex and nuanced this whole selection process really is.
It really is.
And it makes you appreciate the challenges and opportunities that come with hosting the biggest game in American football.
Yeah, it's amazing how much goes into it,
It really is.
I always thought it was just about the biggest stadium
Right.
or the most passionate fan base.
Yeah.
But it's clearly so much more than that.
Oh, for sure.
Makes you think about the future of Super Bowl hosting, too.
Yeah, absolutely.
As this event just keeps growing,
Uh-huh.
the demands are only going to increase.
For sure.
What does that mean for cities that, are hoping to be a part of this iconic event?
Yeah, will we start to see a smaller pool of potential hosts?
Right.
Cities that can consistently deliver that top-tier experience.
Right. Or will the NFL be willing to make exceptions?
For cities that, maybe don't check every box,
Right.
but offer something unique.
Yeah, it's a question of balance.
It is. Yeah.
They want that predictable, polished event,
Right.
but they also don't want to lose that excitement and variety
Right.
that comes from, showcasing different cities.
And what about the fans?
Yeah, exactly.
Would we be okay with a future where Super Bowls are held in, like, a handful of mega stadiums?
Yeah.
Or is there something special about seeing this game played in these different environments,
Yeah.
even if they aren't ideal,
Right.
according to the NFL?
This is where I think this Game Arenas video really sparks a great conversation,
Yeah.
It's not just about listing the stadiums
Right.
and their shortcomings.
Right.
It's about getting us to think critically
Yeah,
about what we value in a Super Bowl host.
I like that.
Yeah.
So what are your, final takeaways here? If you were advising a city with Super Bowl aspirations,
Okay.
what would you tell them?
I would say focus on creating a compelling story.
Huh?
Showcase the city's unique strengths,
Okay.
highlight its ability to deliver a memorable experience.
Yeah.
And just be upfront about any limitations you might have.
Okay.
It's about finding that sweet spot
Yeah.
where your city's character aligns with the NFL's vision
Right.
for
Yeah.
the Super Bowl.
So for our listeners, the takeaway is, next time you watch the Super Bowl, take a moment to appreciate all the factors that went into choosing that location.
Yeah.
It's not a simple decision.
It's not at all.
Reflects not only the NFL's priorities,
Yeah.
but also the changing landscape of sports and entertainment
Right.
and urban development.
Well said. It's a reminder that the Super Bowl is more than just a game.
Yeah.
It's a cultural phenomenon
It is.
that reflects, our evolving tastes,
Right.
priorities, and the role that sports play in our society.
Absolutely. And on that note, we want to thank you guys for joining us on this deep dive
Yeah. Thanks for listening.
into the world of Super Bowl stadiums.
If you enjoyed this episode
Yeah.
and want to see more in-depth analysis of sports stadiums,
Yeah.
make sure to check out that full Game Arenas video on YouTube.
Yes. And be sure to subscribe to the deep dive so you don't miss our next exploration of fascinating topics. Until then, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep those conversations going.